I mean, and I feel like, you know, us young black boys growing up in the hood or whatever the case may be, there's so many levels to it, right? Like,
so for sure.
You know, you have the drug use, you have the liquor stores on every corner, you have all these different elements inside of our project, right?
Yeah.
And we're used as the specimens, right? To see what the government can do next. So we know there's a deeper issue that goes on that overlaps into what happens with our mothers and how they treat us and things like that. The mindset of the father, the absence, things of that nature. Now, do you feel like the way you grow up in the home is an automatic, from where we're from, is an automatic, like, transportation into the school prison pipeline? Yeah,
I mean, there's a conspiracy to destroy little black boys, right, through the Board of Education. But I want to backtrack a little bit. You know, there's no more sex education in schools, right? There's no parenting workshops in the ghetto or communities that we grew up in. So these mindsets or these approaches we learn from experience as opposed to learning from conversation or someone else's experience. So it would be
getting the actual education of it.
So yeah, so it would have been great to have women's groups and men's groups, right? Showing little black boys how to have emotional intelligence, right? How to be patient, how to be a protector, how to be a provider, how to be a maintainer. Showing little black girls, you know, how to value their mind, how to value their wisdom and what they bring to the table outside of the bedroom, right? And then role-playing scenarios, right? And having this preparation for the societal expectation in terms of being a parent or having a relationship. I mean, we deal with so much stuff, so much trauma. When you think about domestic violence, if the little boy, he grows up in a home and he only saw men beat his mom, right? He's learning to deal with issues with his fists. Then you have the girl, she's grown up, she was molested, she doesn't want to admit it to nobody, right? Or she has, you know, a body dysmorphia, or, you know, she really wanted to be born a boy, but she's born a woman, so she's mad and she has these issues, right? And it's like, then it's like all this shit. And then see, we talking about all these things, right? Like a child's learning curve is the shortest between the ages of 0 to 7. So what they do, they use homosexuality, they condition us and it prepares for that between the ages of 0 to 7. You think you born that way, you ain't. If it was natural to be a homosexual, we wouldn't even be here, right? They glorify. I remember being young, G.I. Joes, and we had toys, and there was always firearms, and right, the music, right? They use media.
All of that.
They use media to subliminally program us when we're in the most influential stages of our lives, right? And when you talk about the Board of Education being connected to that, because the curriculum represents the lack of taking advantage of that moment in time that a child is the most impressionable. Meaning, like in preschool, I should be learning college shit, right? In first grade, I should be having internships, learning trades, etc., etc. But you talking about ABC, Dr. Seuss, and Cat in the Bat, right? And again, not to sound too conspiracy, but you know, white supremacy is a real thing.
Absolutely, I agree with that.
And their whole purpose is, they fear going extinct, right? So
always they fear.
Our genetic capabilities puts us in a position to erase them, right? So, you know, they establish white supremacy through slavery. They maintain white supremacy through institutions and laws, right? They expanded through appointed leadership over those institutions, right? Then they refine it through media, technology, and food. So we're dealing with all these things, which is the whole goal is just to destroy us and make sure we're incapable of coming into power.
But the amazing thing is, I agree with you, the amazing thing about us is that we adapt and we always seem to overcome it, even though it's 95% that falls under that tutelage of what they set up. Yeah. For the least part, I'll say 5% of us population-wise understand. We have
but adaptability is almost like a fail-safe, right? Because at the end of the day, because if we're just adapting, you know, no, we have to.
Well, adapt and improve infrastructure.
Yeah, for sure. But what I mean by adapting is now we have to realize that, okay, hey, it's no more adapting. It's more so like we have to take accountability, right? take a different type of accountability. Not accountability for our conditions, but accountability for taking ourselves out of these conditions, right? And then now moving forward, right? And saying, fuck adapting. And now it's time to build. We have to have our own CIA, our own FBI, our own police departments, our own institutions, our own college, our own media companies, satellites, etc., etc. We sitting here talking about adapting and all this other shit. Nah, bro, like adapting is just as good as not doing anything, right? So,
I want to give you a little pushback on that. So, when I say adapting, I don't mean in the terms of adapting and becoming lazy. Right, just becoming used to the normalcy of society as a black man or woman.
No,
right?
Pardon me, God. Reason I'm saying I'm against adapting because I'm using it in terms of the context of I've adapted. Right. Like I have adapted, right? But if I'm fully in power, I'm fully in charge, and I'm running the show, I don't gotta adapt to shit.
I got you.
You get what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Yeah. So I don't disagree with you, right? Because I have adapted. So, I wanted us to how I'm looking at it is just like,
well, I gotta adapt.
Fuck you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I need to be.
Fuck
I need
you.
to be in control of what I have.
And I need to say fuck you, right? Because you've been saying fuck me since the beginning. So when we understand that, and then we have to have a mindset that can prepare us to maintain the middle finger being up. Right? And that's knowing who we are. We're not looking out the window, we're looking in the mirror. Right? We got to stop the homosexuality shit. We got to stop the gangs. And I'm Muslim, but it's like, religion ain't working for us. Right? Like, we have to get to who we are, the purest form. And whoever's willing to get on that boat as black people, then we're going to let you on this boat. Because if we don't, we're going to be extinct. Like, you don't even understand what Belgium, what India, what Russia, what China is doing right now in Africa. Bro, they getting ready, like they taking over. And we sitting here talking about Donald Trump and Kamala. Like, we distracted. P. Diddy and what baby oil fell on somebody's back, right? The fuck about that. Like, they trying to make sure our kids don't exist.
Right.
And we sitting up here laughing, kikiing, playing. Like, we not gonna be here. And no disrespect. If you like dick, learn to like pussy. If you like pussy, learn to like dick. Because we need you to survive. We need procreation for us for our survival. No, because it's real. Right? It's real. So, and nobody's talking about this because we don't have leadership. We got a bunch of house niggas afraid of the white man. So they can't speak on things that need to be spoken on, and we can't have real type of a conversations. So that's what I'm saying. The first thing is the mindset, right? What is the mindset? Okay, how you think creates how you feel. How you feel becomes an emotion. That emotion becomes a vibration. That vibration becomes a magnet that attracts things to you, right? That's the science. That's the tool. Now, how do I apply that tool? Well, I have to think that I am a God, right? I have to think that I'm a God, and I have to think it repetitiously enough until my body. Now, this is physiology.
Your cells conform to that.
Yes,
right.
Because,
I know what you mean.
Because our bodies starts to produce chemicals associated with the thoughts that we think subconsciously, repetitiously. So I will literally change my molecular structure by repetitiously thinking to myself, I am a God, I am a God, I am a God, I am invincible, I am invincible, I am invincible, right? And then how you think creates how you feel. Well, those are the thoughts I need to be thinking. Right? How you feel becomes an emotion. Now I'm feeling the emotions of a God. I'm feeling like a deity. I'm feeling superior. I'm feeling supreme. I am not a minority. I am the majority.
Right.
Okay, we're not minorities. We're the majority. So when people keep passing this rhetoric around like it's true, it's bullshit. So now look, now these emotions. Now I'm feeling like a super supreme being, right? Now that emotion becomes a vibration, right? That vibration has gravitational pull. Now it's attracting things to you. It's also repelling things away from you. Now with this mindset, now we are evolving, right? Now we're applying that God to building community, building institutions, building agencies that benefit us as a nation, as a macro and not just micro. Yeah.
So I agree with you on that. So here's the problem, right? And it, unfortunately, it's just what's been happening throughout history against us as a people, is that we always have examples of how they put us down. Whenever we tried.
What do you mean?
Well, Black Panther Party,
can't go for it. You can't go with that.
No, but what I'm saying, no, this is what I'm saying. I'm not saying me personally.
Yeah.
I'm woke. I know what's going on. I know I'm God. But what I'm saying is for the general narrative of us. The general narrative is well, every time somebody comes up as a black man or a black woman and they trying to lead us, they get shot down in every instance.
That's coward rhetoric. Because at the end of the day, again, first of all, without Harriet Tubman, where would we be? See? Without Nat Turner, where would we be?